There's been a historic agreement in European football, and today we're going to talk about that. Welcome to Reporte 7. As sports clubs continue to look for ways to increase their revenue, new technologies present fantastic opportunities to do that. In this context, a historic agreement has taken place in European football because for the first time ever, multiple leagues have come together to form a pool of broadcasting rights, and finally, last October, they celebrated an agreement. This has some very interesting aspects, so let's see all the details. It all began in 2020 when the European Leagues, which is the association representing European professional football leagues, began to investigate if an agreement of this nature was possible. When we think of European football, we tend to think of the most popular leagues, the ones that move monstrous amounts of money. But that's not the reality for all European leagues, some of them are really impoverished. So the European leagues wanted to see if an agreement of this kind was interesting to some leagues and if there were potential buyers interested. And as it turned out, initially there were 10 leagues interested, but one of those did not have its rights available. So in the end, it was 9 leagues that formed the pool. And there were 2 streaming companies interested, which were OneFootball and Eleven. The deal covers 9 leagues, 116 teams, and over 1,500 matches throughout the whole year. Now, which are the leagues participating in this agreement? They are the leagues of Denmark, Switzerland, Norway, Poland, Northern Ireland, Slovakia, Iceland, Latvia, and Kazakhstan. Now, initially, when you hear these leagues, you might think these aren't the most attractive leagues, and you might want to dismiss this as kind of an irrelevant agreement. But I think that would be a mistake, and later on I will explain my opinion. Now, let's keep looking at the details. Some of these leagues gave 60% of their matches, while others gave all 100% of their games. They will reach over 230 markets with this agreement. The deal is for 3 years. Financial details were not disclosed, but according to Sportico, the deal goes somewhere from $5 and $20 million. And some directors of the leagues mentioned that an important aspect for them was the fact that the streaming companies are going to be sharing information with them related to who is watching the matches. They're going to receive feedback from their audience. So that's the agreement. Now, why I believe this is a very important and interesting agreement, let's see. First of all, let's keep something in mind. This package is going to offer football throughout the whole year, all 12 months. Because of weather conditions in some of these countries, they are unable to play through the winter, so they play in the summer months, which is when the most popular leagues are resting. So maybe you're thinking, okay, I'm never gonna watch the Danish league, but I wouldn't be so sure about that. I mean, in the end, football fans, what we want is to watch football. Imagine one of those summer months when there is no football and all we have are transfer rumors and preseason camps. And suddenly you run in TV into a derby from maybe the Polish league or a decisive match from Norway. I don't know. It could be interesting. I wouldn't dismiss it just yet. And I think with these leagues have come into a much bigger issue in football, which is the fact that right now fans want want more football, and the people running the sport, all they can think about to satisfy that demand is to make the same players play more and more and more matches every time. That's why we're seeing attempts to play the World Cup every 2 years and attempts to make the Club World Cup between 32 teams, and we're gonna see the World Cup played between 48 teams, and we are seeing the Nations League, and we are seeing the Spanish Super Cup played between 4 teams. I mean, it's all how to play more matches, but all the time played by the same players, which isn't optimal and has a lot of problems. So instead of making the same players play more and more and more, why don't we use other leagues to satisfy this demand? I think that's why what these leagues in Europe have done could be really interesting to some other leagues. I'm thinking for instance about Central American leagues or women's leagues or youth leagues or lower division leagues. They could come together and say something like what they're saying in Europe. Listen, we are not the most attractive leagues, we are not the Champions League, but we are interesting and we can offer you a lot of content, which also is something that broadcasting companies are looking for right now. We've said so in this channel before. Content is king right now. So this could be a solution for all football on how to satisfy the demand there is right now. Okay, you're not going to have the level of excitement that you have from the Champions League or from the World Cup, but it's impossible to have that level of excitement every 2 weeks. And that's something that people running this sport don't seem to understand. So instead of over-exploiting the same players, why don't we take other leagues and other players and use them to satisfy that demand, and everyone could benefit from that? Because you would be satisfying that demand, you would not exploit the same players, the stars of the game, and you would also give a platform for other leagues to show their product and to also to grow. So I think this model could work for everyone. So that's one point. Now, as for the economic aspect of the deal, maybe $20 million don't seem like so much money when you compare it to what other leagues are generating. But this agreement is actually an increase for every single participant. And some of those leagues did not even receive cash with their previous arrangements. So they are all improving. And in the end, that's what management is all about, improving step by step. And another thing is that maybe they are receiving a little money right now, but they are also receiving something which is extremely valuable, which is the fact that they are going to be able to present their leagues on a global market. So maybe right now you're not getting so much money. I'm sorry, that was my dog barking. So maybe right now you're not getting so much money, but maybe your social media community starts to grow, and maybe you start selling jerseys overseas, and maybe you start selling players overseas, which could be a really fantastic source of income for these leagues. So yeah, maybe you're not receiving so much money right now, but you are getting exposure, and that is really valuable. Another aspect which I love about this deal is the fact that these leagues are mentioning that they're getting feedback from their audience as an important factor to agree to this deal. We are in a time right now where big data and information analysis are more important every day. But information analysis can not only be applied to a team's performance on the pitch, it can also be applied to other areas, and it can certainly be applied to your fan base and to your audience. You can apply information analysis to understand better your audience, to understand what they like, how they behave, so you can design more concise strategies to engage, to better engage with them, which in the end can translate to an increase in revenue, which is what every organization wants. This is clearly what these leagues have in mind, and I think this is a very intelligent move from them, and I honestly think every single sports organization should be doing this. And finally, this isn't a revelation to anyone, but I think it's worth mentioning. Broadcasting is an absolute game changer for the TV industry, and sports is going to be absolutely this is a fantastic opportunity for sports. Now sports organizations have the opportunity to present their product on a global audience. 10 years ago, it was unthinkable that the league from Kazakhstan was going to be broadcasted in over 200 countries, but nowadays that is a reality. So again, I think every single sports organization should be looking into ways to take advantage of this new technology. So in conclusion, I think this is a very interesting deal. I think this is going to be a pioneer deal, because I think in the coming years we will be watching more of this, more leagues coming together to form pools of broadcasting rights, because this is a very interesting model. But that's my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. If you enjoyed the video, I appreciate that you like it and that you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care.